I said, is that announcer speak? You know? So, go ahead, what you got?
Coach, it looked like another example of you guys didn't have a great game on offense, but because of your defense, you gritted it out and stayed on top. Is that?
I would agree. I thought the first half, if we were better on offense, on the offensive end, we could have had a bigger lead than we had. But I do appreciate the fact that we had some starters sitting on the bench for the majority of the first half, and the guys that came in did a pretty good job. But overall, defensively, we were pretty good until Admiral gave up 2 backdoor layups. A couple things we wanted to do was not let them get 10 threes and not give up any backdoor layups. And I don't think until Admiral gave them 2 there at the end, they got those, and they only got 7 threes. But they're a good basketball team, and they played a lot of basketball together and against some really good teams, competition, and they run their stuff, and they're hoping that when that ball goes inside, it'll collapse so they can kick out for the threes. They're very efficient on the offensive end. A year ago, as you guys know, they scored 58 points in the first half, and it was because of what we normally do. They burned us, and so our players were having to do some things mentally that we haven't done all year. And overall, the defense was okay. You take away those couple backdoor layups and maybe 1 or 2 threes where we broke down on the out of bounds play. Plays on the out of bounds. We were pretty good defensively.
Grant, then Wes.
Not ask you to comment on officiating, but it felt like there wasn't a lot of flow to that basketball game. Is that because of whistles, or is that because of some
Yeah,
stuff both teams are
it
doing?
changed from the start. There wasn't a lot of flow to it, and you look at it today, there were, 23 total fouls called today, 43 fouls called. But there wasn't a lot of flow, and once we felt like we got some flow going, then it changed, and I'm sure they might have felt the same way. But second half, we had some pretty good blocks, I thought. We really did, but we have a tendency when you're really trying to guard the 3-point line, you start letting guys drive by you. The guys that we didn't want to drive by us drove us a few times. But what I like too, today, last game, Levante and Jordan Bone were the guys that finished the game today. It was I thought Chris Darrington played his best basketball today. I felt like he was really in sync, and James Daniel was good early. I didn't think he was as good in the second half when he came back, and we had to work him through some foul situation. But there was, again, we found a way to we scored 81 points. And I told the guys, how about the layups we missed? And can't have James Daniel missing 2 free throws and things that to be the team we want to be. We've got to finish on some of those layups, especially the ones that you should make.
Rick, you just mentioned him a little bit, but with Darrington, I guess he's back from that ankle now, just getting in the flow. Are you starting to see kind of the player you recruited there?
Well, he's starting to be the player we saw this summer on our trip. We want to drive the ball, and some guys think one dribble pull-up jumper is a drive, and it's not a drive. He was at least trying to turn the corner, get into the high percentage areas, and make a play. And and defensively, he's getting there. He is. He's still, I think, the more he gets familiar with what we're trying to do, he'll get better with it. But defensively, he's definitely improving. I just like today. I thought he had a really good command about what he was doing out there.
Coach mentioned the offense kind of hit a wall for a bit when cold, but your defense blocked 9 shots, forced 15 turnovers. How good does it feel to know you have that defense you can rely back on?
Well, you go back. We've won a couple games this year, and I don't think today's any exception where we've won some games with our defense. I'm not sure we would have won this game last year, even though we beat these guys last year. But I think they're a better basketball team this year than we were last year, and I also think we're better. But the fact is, we're doing some good things on defense, but we can still get better. And but our defense has really grinded it out for us in a couple of games. We've been able to win. If we could ever put it all together, which we haven't done, but we're looking for, as a coaching staff, you're always looking for that perfection, and we just need to, again, make the shots we need to make, and we don't want 15 turnovers. We don't need that. Again, you look at, we had 25 baskets on 22 assists, and we're moving the ball, but I just felt early we settle for threes. I think we shot 4 or 5 in a row, then Grant thinks, okay, I'm gonna raise up and shoot one. That's where we're not a smart team yet, understanding, when you haven't scored in 3 possessions, everybody needs to be on the same page and not just shoot and hope the next one goes in. And we're not there yet, and that's where we still gotta get someone that understands what's going on without us on the sideline screaming and yelling at them, but understanding the flow of the game.
Steve?
Grant sat for about half the first half because of foul trouble. Just anything was said at halftime, or how was he able to respond in the second half the way he did?
We didn't say much. I mean, we told him coming in that they're going to try to flop on him, and we knew that. I mean, we mentioned to the referees at the start of the game, at some point in time they're going to try to flop. I mean, whether, and the thing about that, I mean, some guys just put their head down and drive to the basket, and then those are hard plays for referees. I mean, this is not an easy game to officiate, but Grant's holding the ball too long. He's letting everybody come settle in on the defensive end. He can't get the offensive rebounds. He could catch it deeper in the post if he wanted to. Grant's a really good defensive guy, because if you look at Pepper, I mean, he couldn't really back Grant down. I mean, Pepper's really good when he gets the ball around the rim. He finishes it very well. Grant can guard when he really wants to set his mind to it. He's given up, last 2 games, he's had 2 fouls where he's twisted his body sideways. He can go up, and he's a good shot blocker, but he's turned sideways, and that's an automatic foul. And we didn't say anything other than, but he needs to understand he needs to play quicker and not wait for double teams and get the ball moving. And but the biggest thing is catching the ball closer to the basket.
Rob, and finish up with Vince.
Coach, Chris and James, finished the game in the backcourt today. Just kind of what did you see from them that made you want to roll with it? Was it just a hot hand situation?
Again, we're around these guys so much, and we just have a feel when they're really locked in. And like I said, I thought, we've always, the best part about James is when he comes in the game bringing energy on the defensive end, and when he gets himself in trouble is when he starts thinking he's the first option. He's not running the team, he's just trying to get down the floor, and again, not being aware of what's going on. But when he's open, or when he raises up to shoot good shots, we think they're going in. And I would say the same thing about Chris Darrington, even though we think he has a really good mid-range game, and he normally gets around the basket, he normally finishes it. But it's just a feel we had with him. We thought, and it was really up from the defensive end. We felt like they were locked in more defensively, and Ballard had a tough task today. Guarding Garrison Matthews. I mean, you look at it, he really did a good job. I mean, you look at his number, he has 22 points, but 9 of those from the free throw line, and overall, when JB was on him, I think he lost him 1 time really. And so his numbers wouldn't show up on the offensive end. But I'll be shocked when we looked at the tape and we didn't think the Falcons played a really good game defensively, and got in a little foul trouble too. But he started driving the ball a little bit more. I think that's where he scored his points from. But he missed 2 layups that he needs to make for us.
Thank you, Coach.
All right,
Thank you.